And yes, we are back with the Screen Team on today's Talk 930 KWOC. We're brought to you by Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, Poplar, Bluff Drywall, and 33 Productions. Our final film is called The Invention of Lying. This came out in 2009. It's a romantic film, also a comedy film too, which was written and directed by Ricky Gervais. He also stars in the film as well. The movie also stars Jennifer Gardner, Jonah Hill, Louis C.K., Rob Lowe, and Tina Fey. So, what's the basic concept of this movie, Maisha?
The basic concept of this movie is crazy. No, really. It's a world that no one's ever lied. Everyone is honest. Everything is very brutally honest.
Mm-hmm. Brutally.
Blatant.
Yes.
Yes. And Ricky Gervais, his character, he tells the first lie ever. And that lie actually has to deal with money, which seems appropriate. He goes into his bank. He owes his rent money, and he's
had a bad day.
He has had a
very bad day.
He got fired.
He's had a very rough day.
He had a what was it, a blind date the night before, and girl did not like him one bit.
No, she was that's the harsh reality of everything being very honest.
Yeah.
And he decides to try to say something that was not true, and it panned out very well for him.
And he notices that too.
He notices it. Yeah, he's very aware that no one else notices it. And I thought this movie was interesting. I'll give my honest opinion. I didn't think it was a good movie, but I thought it was an interesting premise to what would happen in our world if everyone was very honest and someone decided, you know what, I'm going to say something that's not true today. And what kind of corruption would arise from that? So that's my take on it. What did you think, Sabrina?
I mean, I couldn't walk away from the movie, really. I had to, it was mind-boggling. Even right down to, like, for instance, there was a Coca-Cola commercial. And the Coca-Cola commercial is a guy just stands there and he says, I'm going to tell you to buy more Coke. It's not very good for you. In fact, it's made with things that are harmful to you. A lot of sugar, that's their idea of advertising, is just telling you really that we changed the bottle or the can. See, the can's different. But, just keep buying it, even though it's not good for you.
Yeah.
And all of TV is real.
Yeah.
Because there's no lying, there's no imagination, there's no embellishment.
There's no fiction.
There's no such thing as fiction.
Right.
Movies are made for a person to sit in a chair and tell you a story about something that really happened.
Yeah.
And they're broken down, and Ricky Gervais' character is one of the writers, researchers, really. I mean, their purpose is to put together the content of what really happened, and he gets stuck with the 13th century. And all he's got is the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody likes it, It's boring, it's depressing, and they like to hear the stories from the other centuries, and it makes those guys more popular.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea behind this movie, is that they're sitting in a chair telling you what happened in 2005, what happened in 2000, what happened in 19, what happened in 18, all these things. So he, in the effect of learning to lie, gets a girl to like him as a friend because she can't get past his physical appearance. And she will say to him, well, we can be friends, but I'm not attracted to you because you're fat and have a snubby nose.
Yeah.
And our children will be fat and have snubby noses. And I have to find an ideal physical mate that will bear me the children. And it's all about the honesty.
Yeah.
She opens the door and says, well, I'm really disappointed in your appearance, but we're going to go out and have dinner and do things, talk about things. And they just say it's almost like, I find this wine disturbing. I'm going to send it back because I feel like it makes me important.
Right.
It's like they're saying their thoughts.
What do you think Luke's saying right now?
He's saying, hurry up and wrap this up.
So what are your thoughts on the movie?
It was, like you said, a really interesting idea. And they had a great cast of characters.
Great cast, yeah.
Of actors.
Yeah.
I guess I lacked the I lacked something, and maybe it was the fiction.
I was gonna
even
say
though the
that.
entire thing was fiction. I just really I need a lot of Hollywood to it, and there wasn't any.
I kind
I
of felt
agree with
like
that. Yeah.
with the movie, the way that it portrayed in the movie, just somebody kind of reading you a movie. I kind of felt like the movie was
That's what they were doing to us.
Yeah, it was like they were reading the movie to me. But the moment in the movie that it made me laugh, even though it was really terrible, was when he went to visit his mom, and instead of nursing home having a name, it just said a sad old place for old people.
Yes, because they couldn't embellish on the truth.
And when she went in there and she said, well, he told her, I'm a loser because you're a loser. And she said, I'm not a loser. And he said, no, you're a loser too, Mom. And I thought, wow,
Such honesty.
Sometimes you need that little white lie. You just need that, no, Mom, you're not a loser. And maybe my life didn't pan out the way it did because something I did. And it was very cold water in your face.
Yeah.
And I don't take my movies like that.
I think also the comic side of it was good. And you really you had to be watching the whole screen to get a lot of the comedy, which is, I think, typical Ricky Gervais style. There's more going on here than what's happening right here. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it and enjoy it better. But, for instance, when they're at a wedding, they're in a house. That's a great place to reflect on the man above. And that is referring to the biggest lie of all that he tells that starts this whole world paying attention to him and what he's doing. And all of a sudden, he's very aware that he told a lie. And that lie was to his mother about how when you die, you don't just disappear. You go to a wonderful place. And in the movie, he creates heaven.
Yeah.
Which has mansions, by the way.
Has mansions,
Yes,
and you all get
mansions.
one.
Yeah.
And then everyone wants to know more. Oh my gosh, you've given me so much happiness. I want to know more. And the fact that people would take so much literally without question is just this black and white in your face. Hey, why do you read the Bible?
Yeah.
And I got that right away. And I was like, well, but that's different.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's different. But, he has an appearance where he looks like Jesus, and he has Pizza Hut boxes that he writes the rules on. And,
Like the
you're
Ten
just,
Commandments,
yeah.
And so you have all this going on. And you have to, if you're going to watch this movie because you're intrigued by our review, I'm not giving everything away because there's a whole lot
there's
more
so
to this
much.
movie. But it's just, those are the types of things. And it's just real consistent. It's just, dun, 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 the end.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems with this movie was, they had the good theme, they had the good idea. I think it was the delivery that really lacked. If you watch a movie like Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, which is kind of like the same kind of concept, the delivery is so much better.
Oh yeah.
He
Absolutely.
he sells it more. It's more, it's
believable.
believable, and
It's American.
that might be it.
It
I mean,
could
that
be.
might be it, because Ricky Gervais not only starred in this, he's also he directed it and wrote it as well. So that might be maybe where it's not fitting in.
Different type of humor.
And Jim Carrey's all like, hey, blah blah,
In your
so
face.
exactly. So
The humor, I think, was more subtle, and not everybody's going to get it. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
for all the listeners out there. It was a very subtle humor. He didn't want you to pay attention to the characters necessarily as much as the story, as pay attention to the background. And in America, most of the movies are pay attention to the characters,
Yeah.
and the background is just helpful. And I don't know. I could take it or leave it. I just thought the premise was really neat.
I saw it once. I don't need to see it again.
I agree.
I'm going to leave it. It's called The Invention of Lying. Maisha, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Will you come again sometime and do it again with us?
Anytime.
Very good, man. Sabrina, as always, you're awesome.
I know. No, I don't.
Sometimes. We'll be back next week. We'll have
Today.
we'll have Jake in the studio. We'll have first timer Toby Spencer in the studio as well. We'll be reviewing the new Hunger Games movie, Mockingjay Part 1. We'll also be reviewing the sequel to 21 Jump Street. It's called 22 Jump Street.
Oh boy.
Clever
It's
name.
Something.
And we'll also be reviewing Glory with Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington and a bunch of other great actors as well.
All those people.
All those great actors. I want to thank our sponsors again, Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, Poplar Bluff Drywall, and 33 Productions. For Maisha, For Sabrina, for Luke and Chris, we are the Screen Team on today's Talk 930 KWOC.